morning students, and welcome to our e-learning session for class 10th, and we are on lecture number 4 for chapter number 9, that is forest and wildlife resources. Number of point what we have discussed in this chapter, so let's take a quick revision what we have discussed. So first of all, as a human, our wants are unlimited and we are dependent for natural resources to fulfill our wants. These resources we get from the nature, it is abundant. But we need to be very much careful, we need to be very much conscious while we are using these resources. So most of the natural resources we are getting from the nature, and most of the products we found from the forest. So first of all, we should understand what is forest. So when we want to classify or when we want to define the forest, at that time we should know that forests are accumulation. It's a accumulation of trees, shrubs, herbs, heap of grass and so on. So that point what we have discussed, so that is the forest. Then we have discussed about the types of forest. So on the basis of the administration, on the basis of management, we have discussed number of things. So let's talk on it. So first of all, forest means the accumulation of plants, trees and heap of grass. Then according to the classification, we have discussed about the different types of forest. So different types of forest in class 9th also we have discussed. So even in class 10th, first of all we talk about the reserve forests. So forests which are under control of the state or the central government, that we consider as a reserve forest. So in the different types of forests we have discussed about the forests which are under control of the state or the central government, that we consider as a reserve forest. Yes, and in this type of reserve forest, almost there is a restriction of lumbering, then the collection of wood and the pasturing. So all type of human activities are, we can say it's a ban or restriction on this type of activity. Second type what we have discussed is the protected forest. Now reserve forest and protected forest are seems like the same, it sound the same, but it is not a same. So here it's a difference between the reserve forest and protected forest. In the reserve forest which is controlled by the state or the central government, whereas protected forest is controlled by the local administration. Okay, and few activities for the localite people, those who are reside over there, for we can say they can collect the wood and graze their animal and without the causing the harm of trees and the field. So that is what the protected forest all about. Then the unclassified forest. So what is unclassified forest? As the name suggests, there is no such a classification under this. So there is no such particular definition for the unclassified forest, and here all activities are like it's a permitted. So there is no such a limitation or restriction on any types of activities. So three types: reserve forest, protected forest and the unclassified forest. Now the classification of forest according to the ownership, management and administration. Under this we talk about the state forest, which is under the control of the state or the central government, and most of the forest of our country India, it's lie in this criteria. Then the communal forest, which is looked after by the local administration, that is a gram panchayat, district panchayat and so on. And one is a private forest, so which is owned by the individual. Private, it means which owned by the individual. So that what we have discussed and what we should and this type of the private forest, most of this private forest we can found in Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Meghalaya. So this point we will keep in mind. Then very important concept about the deforestation what we have discussed. So deforestation means what? Very important content. Deforestation means to, in the simplest term we can say, to cutting down the tree. In the simplest manner, that what we say is it's all about the deforestation. And it is not the problem of our country, but it's a global problem. It is a global problem. So, and the, like, it's a very, like, entire world is facing this deforestation, and due to this deforestation, number of problem, number of threaten we are facing. So in second point we talk about the impact of the deforestation. So due to the deforestation, what type of problem entire world is facing, that what we have discussed. Now we know due to this deforestation, entire world, the global temperature is increasing. Greenhouse effect. Then number of birds, animal and the insects, they lose their abode. So this all are the very critical questions which arise due to this deforestation. And number of animal due to this situation extinct, they in endangered situation. Now we know the problem, so we have to come out with the solution. So what is the solution, or what are the steps should be taken to conserve the forest? So very important point, not for your study, apart from your our basic science and for the basic knowledge also, this point are very important. Yes. So remedies for the forest conservation. So what type of steps we should take? Okay. So research should be carried out. First and very important point, that the research should be carried out for the option of the wood, as most of the cutting of the wood is done for the wood, collection of the wood. So first of all, we have to come up with the option of the wood. In place of wood, we have to choose one solution. We have to come out with the option. Okay, so first of all, we should go with the research. Second point, what we should keep in mind, the industries. Those industries which are using the forest as a basic raw material, they should grow and they should go with the afforestation. Whatever the number or how much number of the tree they are cutting, they should plant as much as tree of the same species. So that is very important point. If the industries are using the forest product as a raw material, they should grow more and more tree, or as much as number they can, and of the same species. Then the awareness of the forest, importance of forest among the people is very important. So at the school and the colleges level, there should be awareness program should be conducted. The subject as a main part of the study we should include, and we have to include, to create awareness among the students and among the people. Social forestry and agroforestry should be developed intensively. That is also one step what we can take. And in place of firewood, alternative use we should choose it, and we have to search it. And due to the increase in means of transportation, people are gathering to the holy place or the pilgrimage center which are located in the forest area. So here, if we the pilgrimage in the those who are the doing their yatra or the bandara over there, so they have to be very much careful. And at that time, in that place also, the litter should be not thrown, or the garbage should be collected in the proper manner. And we should be careful that the environment should not get disturbed over that time. Another important point, and the next point, what important thing what we have discussed about the wildlife diversity of our country. As we know, India is having the vast geographical area, and in all manner, in all era, we can say India is a unique country. We are having a wonderful diversity. We are having linguistic diversity, heritage diversity, and even in the wildlife, we are having the number of species. So here we know more than 81,251. 81,251 different types of species are present in our country. So it's a vast, large diversity what we can say. and we stood on the 12th rank in the world ranking. If we talk about the diversity, India stood 12th in its rank. After that, we talk about the wildlife on extinction. Now, what are the reason that number of species, that what we have discussed, that number of birds, animals and the insects are in the endangered situation, and number of animal extincts also. Say from, we can say for example, we can say cheetah. Okay. Now we know the differentiate between the leopard and cheetah. So the cheetah are now not found in our country. Once the proportion of tiger was a large, more than 40,000 in our country, but now we have to save, we have to conduct the project Save the Tiger. So these are the problem. And now what are the reason for the destruction of wildlife? For this reason also, our activity as a human, we are responsible for the destruction of the wildlife as well. Okay. So what are the reason why this number of animal are in endanger? So we have discussed very briefly that the human interferences in grasslands and the watershed area of forest, the natural habitat of the wild animal in put in danger. As now we are entering in their home. So they have to move and they need to move out. We are taking back their home and abode. So this is first point what we can say, that the interferences of the human, it is the most important point or the reason for the destruction of the wildlife. Then destruction of forest is the main reason, that is the utmost important reason of the destruction of the wildlife, as animals and birds and insects are losing their abode. We are throwing out from their home, and as they are losing their abodes, number of animals and birds and insects are in the danger situation. That the hunting of the animal and to obtain for the skin and their hair and bones and horns, nails is also, as we are hunting, we are killing the animals. So the poaching and the hunting is one of the reason of the destruction of the wildlife. Then the ever exploitation, even for the multi-purpose project, we are cutting down, we are clearing the forest. That is also the reason for the destruction. And the forest land are being enriched for the grass, fuel and grazing. And so number of point what we have discussed very briefly. Then we discuss about the measure of prevention of wildlife. Now again we know this problem, as we human, we are creating the problem. Due to our activity, there is a destruction in the forest. So we have to come out with the solution. So what are the steps should be taken? How we can protect the wildlife? So number of projects are undergoing with the help of with central and the state government. Now this is the peak time, or this is the time if we should live a good healthy life. If we want to live, if as a human we are a social animal, and if we want to live a good life, then we have to protect the wildlife, as we are dependent on them. It shows the interdependence in nature. If the ecosystem is in balance, then and then only we can live a good healthy life. Okay, so what are the remedies, what are the measure of prevention should be we should take? So it is necessary to change our attitude. This is the first basic point what we should keep in mind, that we have to change our attitude. As if we will change our attitude towards the nature, if we respect the nature and all the natural resources, living and non-living, then we can, if we respect them, then this is one of the solution how we can save the natural environment. Then maintain the balance of number between the herbivorous and carnivorous. See, this is also very important point, that we should make a balance between the herbivorous and the carnivorous. Students, you know, whatever the nature have its own system and very perfect system. We should not make an imbalance in that. If there is an imbalance between the herbivorous and the carnivorous, this situation will be dangerous for us also and for the nature also, as it will create a disturbance in the food cycle or the food chain. Then we discuss there should be strict laws should be imposed. Obviously, if there is against the hunting and the poaching, there should be a strict law should be imposed. There should be ban on the hunting and poaching. Then it is necessary to make such an arrangement which would not be disturb the animal during their procreative period. So it means that in their reproduction time, so animals should not disturb during this time. So this is also important point what we will keep in mind. And the program should be arranged to bring the widespread awareness. Again, awareness is also important point or important remedies what we should take in mind. Then we discuss about the different types of projects. As number of animals are now on the line of extinction or in danger, so number of projects are taken by the state and the central government. So some schemes are implemented in India to protect the wildlife. And here we have discussed about the different project in the previous lecture. First, what we have discussed about the tiger project. To save the tiger up to 1971. In 1971, we have started the project Tiger to save the tiger in entire. First, it was seen in all part of the country. Now, it is restricted in the few part of our country. In 20th century, starting of the 20th century, the more than 40,000 tiger was there, and now they are in danger condition. So, as per one estimate, there were more than 40,000 tigers in India in the beginning of the 20th century, and now it is like decreasing by the very less number. And once it was found in all part of our India, but now it is also restricted in few parts in the national parks and the wildlife sanctuaries. Okay, so government started this project Tiger in 1971. Extra point what we have discussed, that before that the lion was our national animal, and due to this project Tiger, to save the tiger, awareness, to create the awareness among the people, the tiger, like government declared the tiger as our national animal. So this 2 point we will keep in mind. Then we talk about the elephant project. So before we talk about the elephant project, you should remember that elephant is our national heritage animal. This point you will keep in mind. It is not given in your book, but apart from your study, you should know this basic information. So elephant, that is a Asiatic and Indian elephant, is our national heritage animal. So to protect the elephant, and this project was started in 1992. Okay, and the main objective was to provide the elephant protective in their natural habitat and protected habitats and their migratory corridors. We have discussed, as in the search of food and water, elephant moves in their corridor, and that area should be protected. Okay, so to protect the elephant, this project was started in 1992. Third, we talk about the rhino project. To save the rhino, one-horn rhino, especially we found in a forest of Assam. Major portion of the rhino we will found in the forest of Assam, and few in the West Bengal, in the Sundarban. So this project is created for the protection of one-horn rhino and of India, and most of the rhino are found in Assam now we know. And according to the Rhino Vision 2020, this is one project named the Rhino Vision 2020. It increased the number of rhino in targeted at the 3,000 तक की उसकी कैपेसिटी ले जाने का टारगेट है. Then we talk about the vulture project. Now see the student, different, like even the vulture are in danger. Okay, जिसको हम गिद्ध कहते हैं. So vulture is the cleanliness worker of the nature. It eats the meat and dead animal. There are about 9 subspecies. Now we should know there are 9 subspecies of the vulture. After that we talk about the snow leopard project. The leopard which we found in the up to height of 3000 meter in the Himalayan region. So it's live in the snow. So snow leopard, this species which is found at the altitude about the 3000 meter in the Himalaya, live in the snow only. So even we talk about the this. So beside these other projects which are we can say operational, including the Kashmir Hangul project and the Red Panda project, Manipuri and Tamil project for the special species. So now today what we are going to discuss is about the sanctuaries, national parks, and we will going to talk about the bioreserve forest. This point what we will going to discuss. So as it sounds the same, sanctuaries and national parks and bioreserve, but it is not a same. It is having its a particular meaning. So one by one, so the sanctuaries, national park and bioreserves are established for the protection of the wildlife. See, to protect the wildlife. See, sanctuaries, national park and bioreserves are established for the protection of the wildlife. What is the reason to establish the sanctuaries or the wildlife or the bioreserve zone? The main aim is to protection of the wildlife, and all these three words sounds like same, synonyms, but there is some difference. So one by one we will take a quick look what it's mean. Now see, first we will talk about the sanctuaries. आरक्षण संरक्षित क्षेत्र है जो ये sanctuaries. So human activities are permitted within the certain limit. Now see, human activities are permitted within a certain limit. जहाँ पे sanctuary means what? जहाँ पे human activities allowed की जाती है. Okay? So human activities are permitted within the certain लिमिट. जहां पे उनके कॉमन लोकल पीपल जो रिसाइड करते, दे आर अलाउड टू वर्क इन इट. नाउ रिकॉल करो, वी हैव टॉक अबाउट द रिजर्व फॉरेस्ट, प्रोटेक्टेड फॉरेस्ट एंड प्राइवेट फॉरेस्ट. ओके, unclassified forest. So it is a protected forest. So human activities are permitted within certain limit. There are some limitation. Okay, and within that limit some type of activities are allowed to do. Then domesticated animal can be allowed to graze after due permission from the authorities. Now domesticated animals, kiske domesticated animal? The people, those who are living over there. Okay, so domesticated animals can be allowed to graze after due permission from authorities. Now here the people have to take, the people who are residing there, those who are living there, they have to take a permission from the authority, and after that permission they can take this. Wildlife sanctuaries established for the protection of the some species, for a particular or the some species, to protect that particular species, wildlife sanctuaries are established. So the sanctuary can be established by the government after certain process. Sanctuary are established by the government under the certain laws or certain we can say the process. There should be one proper process. Under this process they can go with it. Periyar, Chandraprabha, Itugram are the famous sanctuary. Even the Gir is a sanctuary also, and wildlife, sorry, national park as well as the sanctuary. So this point we will keep in mind. Okay, so this is the about the sanctuary. Let's talk about the other point. Now here you can see the different sanctuary of India. So sanctuary point, what we will keep in mind, sanctuaries in there few activities are permitted, few are restricted. So that is the sanctuary. Now here you have to make one map of sanctuary. Here we will make a 3 different map. First you will have to prepare the map for the sanctuaries, important sanctuary, and even we are having more than 23, so we can make this map for the sanctuary. So here in this map you can see the sanctuaries, different sanctuaries which are located in different part of our country. So in sanctuary we will keep in mind that few activities are allowed with the permission of the government or from the authority, and wildlife sanctuaries established for the protection of for a particular species. So this is the main point what you will keep in mind. So wildlife sanctuary is for the protection of some species, and the sanctuary can establish by the government after certain process. There will be some particular process will be there to establish the sanctuary. Now after sanctuary, let's talk about the national parks. Now see, what is the national park? Now sanctuary is narrow concept in compared to the national park. Now national park is a wider concept. Though it sounds same, national park और sanctuary एक सुनने में लगता है, but there is a certain difference. Now again you have to recall about the reserve forest and protected forest. This how you will understood. So compared to the sanctuary, this is more protected zone. Compared to the sanctuary, this is more protected zone. In national park, number of restriction will be there, more restriction will there in compared to sanctuaries. So compared to the sanctuary, this is a more protected zone. Then more than one ecosystem included here. Now see, this is very important point. In sanctuary we understood that the particular species or the few species are protected. But in national park, it's a wide concept. So more than one ecosystem included here. Okay, so these are the important point what you will you should understand. And for your exam purpose, if this is the in a differentious manner also. This is the difference between the wildlife sanctuaries and the national park. So more than one ecosystem included here. Then there is a complete ban on animal grazing. Now in sanctuary it is permitted. Permission should be taken by the authority, but in national park grazing is totally banned. Okay. Now it is not centered around one species as it is in the sanctuary. As now we know, there will be the more than one ecosystem. So it is not centered around one species as it in a sanctuary. जैसे sanctuary में एक या दो प्रजातियों को protection मिलता है, but where in a national park more than one or more एक से ज़्यादा animals. So it is not centered around one species but more than that. It is established through the coordination of state and central government. It is the coordination, it shows the coordination between the state and central government. Okay, so it is established through the coordination of state and central government. Very good example of national park Kaziranga. Kaziranga, Jim Corbett, oldest one. And the first national park, what we can say, Kaziranga, Jim Corbett, Velavadar. Now this in Bhavnagar. So in Bhavnagar we are having one national park, that is a Velavadar. Okay. So Kaziranga, Corbett, Velavadar, Marine National Park in Jamnagar, Gir, Dachigam are important national park. So even 3 example, Velavadar in Bhavnagar, Marine National Park, Devbhumi Dwarka, and the Gir in the Junagadh. So this all are the example of national park. Okay, so you should keep in mind the differentiate between the sanctuaries and the wildlife sanctuaries and the national park. So what point you will keep in mind? Compared to the sanctuary, this is more protected zone. More than one ecosystem included here. There is complete ban on animal grazing. It is not centered around one species as it is in the sanctuary. It is established through the coordination of state and central government. Kaziranga, Jim Corbett, Velavadar, Marine National Park, Gir and Dachigam are important national park. So students, again I am instructing you, you have to prepare a map for the same. So 3 different maps we will going to prepare for this lesson. So where we will mark the sanctuaries in different map, national park as well as the bioreserve forest. So let's talk on the bioreserve forest. Now in this map you can see the different national park which are situated in our country. So we know in India we are having more than 103, more than 103 national park. Altogether we are having 103 national parks, and this is the map of the national parks. So as I instruct you, we will going to prepare a map for the national park as well. Now let's talk about the bioreserve forest. Now first we talk about the sanctuaries. Sanctuary is a narrow concept. Then we talk about the national park, which is a broader than the national park. And beyond the national park, if we talk about the international rules and regulation, or more than or the broader concept than the national park. So let's talk about the bioreserve zone. So what is the bioreserve zone? See, it is formed according to the international norms. First point we should keep in mind, sanctuaries are made with a certain process. National parks with the coordination between the state and the central government, establishment of national park can be done. But when we talk about the bioreserve zone, okay, so it is formed according to the international norms. Now the purpose is to protect the physical. Now very important point here you will keep in mind, physical cultural diversity. Now the purpose, what is the purpose? Why this type of bioreserve forest are like, so what is the purpose? So the purpose is to protect the physical and the cultural diversity of any region. Now physical diversity means animals and the plants and the birds, insects, it's included. But with that, cultural diversity मतलब वहाँ के जो लोग नॉमेडिक या तो जो जंगलों में आदिवासी लोग रहते हैं, टू सिक्योर उनका जो कल्चर है, द कल्चरल डाइवर्सिटी वॉट एवर द एरिया इज हैविंग, टू सिक्योर दैट डाइवर्सिटी, उनकी लाइफस्टाइल, उनकी कल्चर, उनका हेरिटेज, उनकी सिस्टम में कोई चेंज ना आए, इट इज प्रोटेक्टेड एज दे आर इन अ लेस इन अ प्रपोर्शन. So to purpose, what is the purpose? See, this is a very important point here, what you will keep in mind. The purpose is to protect the physical, वहाँ की जो physical properties है, birds, animals, plants life, animal life and so on, to protect that as well as the cultural diversity in that particular area, whatever the culture is there, to protect that culture, the bioreserves are formed. So it is a wide and the broad concept. Please keep in mind that this, the bioreserve zone is like, one protected area which control or which protect not only the physical life of the nature but as well as the cultural diversity as well. So this is the most important point. I really say that this is the IMP point, what you should keep in mind. So the purpose is to protect the physical and cultural diversity of any region. Then beside the vegetation, insects and land of that area, the lifestyle of the people living there is also protected. As I said, cultural diversity is protected in this area. So not only the plant life and animal life, but the life of the people who reside there, they are also protected. the culture, the life, the heritage what they are having, it is also protected under this forest or the bioreserve. So beside the vegetation, insects and land of the area, the life of the people living there is also protected. So it's a broader concept. It is a broader concept in compare of national parks and the wildlife sanctuaries. Okay. So spatial arrangement are created for research and training about to reserve. Now spatial arrangement, as I said, spatial arrangement are created to research and training. What type of research and what type of training? As to conserve, to protect the physical and the cultural diversity. So spatial arrangement are created for research and training about the bioreserve. So I think now the concept of bioreserve zone, you are now clear about this thing. Now see, in such a proclaimed area, all external human movement. Now these points, what we will keep in mind, that in such a proclaimed area, all external human activities or the movements are strictly restricted, totally restricted. All human movement, all types of activities are totally banned in this area. So in such a proclaimed area, all external human activities. Okay, so this is the most important point what you will keep in mind. In such a proclaimed area, all external human movements are totally restricted. Average area of such a zone is larger than 5,000 square kilometer. Please, you have to note it. ये बहुत बड़े विस्तार होते हैं. It is a broader than the national park. Okay, so the average area of such a zone is larger than 5,000 kilometers. Nilgiri, Gulf of Mannar. This point you have to keep in mind. Gulf of Mannar, Great Nicobar, Sundarban, Panchmadi are the considered to be the important bioreserves of the nation. These all are the bioreserve forests. So Nilgiri, Gulf of Mannar, Great Nicobar, Sundarban. Sundarban is the most important, we know. Sundarban, Panchmadi are the considered to be the important bioreserve of the nation. The run of Kutch of Gujarat was declared. Now even our in Gujarat we are having biodiverse zone, bioreserve zone. So the run of Kutch of Gujarat was declared as a bioreserve zone in 2008. Keep the date, keep the year in your mind. In 2008, the run of Kutch declared as a bioreserve zone. In 2008, run of Kutch is declared as a bioreserve zone. So the run of Kutch of Gujarat was declared as a bioreserve zone in 2008 for the protection of a special environmental condition. Why it is declared as a bioreserve zone? To protect the spatial environment. As we know, Safed Ran, white desert. It is something different than the desert what we are having in our mind. Okay. So in bioreserve forest, all external human movements are totally restricted. Average area of such a zone is larger than the 5,000 square kilometer. Nilgiri, Gulf of Mannar, Great Nicobar, Sundarban, Panchmadi, all are the very good examples of reserve forest, bioreserve forest, and run of Kutch. In 2008, it was declared as a bioreserve zone of Gujarat. So this point we will keep in mind. Now, what are the numbers of sanctuaries, wildlife resource, sanctuaries and national park in our India? So, number of sanctuaries, national parks and bioreserves in our country. So, let's see. In India, total bioprotection zone is 18. Total bioreserve zones 18. In Gujarat, we are having one, that is a run of Kutch. that what we know now. National parks, altogether there are 103 national park in India, and in Gujarat we are having 4, and one of that Velavadar in our Bhavnagar. Centuries, there are there are 531 centuries. There are 531 centuries, and out of that 23 present in Gujarat. Okay, so this numbers, at least for a Gujarat we should know. So 1 bioreserve forest in Gujarat, 4 national parks, and 23 sanctuaries in Gujarat. So 1, 4, 23. 1 reserve park, bioreserve zone, 4 national parks, and 23 we are having the wildlife sanctuaries. So this number we will keep in mind. Now see, how can planned a development save forest and wildlife? Let's talk on it. Now we know this about the importance of the wildlife, what are the threatened, what are the situation. We know the problem and now we know the solution. So how we can plan the development to save the forest and wildlife? So there should be some plan, we should have some idea, and we have to work on it. Okay. So development process is inevitable for the country's economy. Now, not for the purpose for the saving the nature, but for our economical development also, ecosystem or the forest should be conserved and should be protected. Okay. So development process is inevitable, but along with it necessary that we keep the mind in all effect on the entire life system while planning. Now as we as a human, we are depend on the on our ecosystem. We are the part of this ecosystem. So we are dependent on this. So if we want to plan, if we want to work, if we want to develop, we have to protect, we have to think out. We have to work accordingly to save the environment, to save the nature. As we are depend on them, so to do our progress for our betterment, for our development, we have to think about this all situation and about this criteria. Now population is continuously growing, and so if the demand of development is all sphere of life. Now as the demand is increasing, why demand is increasing? As our wants are unlimited, sources which fulfill this demand are limited. Our population is we are on the second position. So due to the high population, the demand is increasing. Even we know demand is unlimited and wants are unlimited, and the resources by which we fulfill our demand are limited. So this is also the question. So whenever one species is completely destroyed or in danger, the result of the disturbance in the food chain are far reaching. Now as due to our behave and thoughtless the procedure, and by the poaching or the hunting, or due to the disturbance in the ecosystem, if say for example, if we remove any one element living bird or animal और इंसेक्ट, अगर वो फूड चेन में से वो एक एलिमेंट भी निकलता है, से फॉर एंट, वी थॉट के भाई व्हाट इट्स मेक्स डिफरेंट, से फॉर एक चींटी नहीं होगी तो इकोसिस्टम में क्या फर्क पड़ता है, हमें क्या फर्क पड़ता है, बट इट्स मेक अ डिफरेंट. As we are talking about the food chain, it's interconnected. As we remove one, then collapse हो जाएगी पूरी food chain. So this is the point what we should keep in mind. As we are disturbing entire ecosystem, as every living organism is depend on one another, it shows the interdependence. So in ecosystem or in the nature, we are depend on other. So we can say in a food chain, every insect has a specific role. If it's the life loss, the entire structure experience the disturbance. Obviously, एक elements को भी अगर आप निकाल दोगे तो पूरी इकोसिस्टम के अंदर, फूड चेन के अंदर देयर विल बी द डिस्टर्बेंस. लाइक यू नो के नाउ दिस इज द टाइम टू सेव द हनी बीज. बी हाइव बचाने हैं, बी हाइव बचेंगे, हनी बीज बचेगी, हनी बीज बचेगी, तो इकोसिस्टम में डिस्टर्बेंस नहीं होगा. इट शोज द इंटरडिपेंडेंस. ओके, so this effects reach very late, hence we are not aware of it. And now we are like, you know, different awareness, due to different awareness program, now we are aware, now we understand the importance of all living organism. Up to now still we couldn't, and now we know that if we want to live, if we want to survive, we have to protect them. Now we understood the importance of this all living organism. So this is the time now we are aware, and now we are taking care of the environment. So those environmental danger which we are followed are the result of the carelessness development before the decades, and the foolishness what we have done in our past, and this is the result what we are facing and the result we are having. Okay, so in the disturbance in the life. So if we have plant development, there will not be any problem. So friendly approach with the environment is needed for the present day. So it should be kept in mind that development does not destroy wildlife and nature. So here this point we will keep in mind that the environment or nature should not be disturbed. And the government should make a strict law of regulation so that the amount of nature or forest destroyed in somehow restored. So this all are the point we will keep in mind. Even for every tree cut for development, new tree should be grown. So what step, how we can plan, what step we should take in consideration. So if we are cutting a one tree for our requirement, we have to grow another. So same number or more than that number of the same species we should grow. So this is the basic point. So for every tree cut for the development, and new trees are should be grown. Then human interferences in area where wildlife is getting extinct should be restricted. Now there should be particular law should be imposed to save the wildlife, and the area where the wildlife is living or reside, the area or that proportion should be protected nicely. Giving high priority and growth and maintenance of nature, ecosystem and animals in our planning process can save forest and wildlife. So this point also we will keep in mind. And development process is inevitable. Okay. So but along with it is necessary that we keep in mind it is effect on the entire life system while planning. डेवलपमेंट करना जरूरी है, डेवलपमेंट को हम रोक नहीं सकते. इट इज अ डायनामिक प्रोसेस, इट विल कीप ऑन चेंजिंग. ये सब चीजें होने के बावजूद भी वी हैव टू कीप इन माइंड दैट वी शुड, इफ वी लिव हेल्दी लाइफ, इफ वी वांट टू सर्वाइव, वी हैव टू कीप अ बैलेंस इन अ इकोसिस्टम. ओके, नाउ थिंग्स टू नो. It is given in your book. So let's talk at the end of this session, things to know. See, this all points are very important for your exam purpose also. So first of all, let's talk about the panda, red panda. In generally, we know that the red panda reside in the Chinese region, in the China. But even red panda found in our country as well. So these all are the special animals. About them we should know. So this what we say is the things to know. So let's talk about the red panda. Red panda is found in the cold forest of eastern Himalaya, where you will find cold forest of eastern Himalaya. In the Himalayan, in the eastern part of Himalaya, we found the red panda. His food is a bamboo sprouts, egg, small birds and insects. So what it eats? Bamboo sprouts, eggs, small birds and insect. So here you can see in the image how it's look. So what is the food of the red panda? Food is a bamboo sprouts, eggs, small birds and insect. Then it's less active during the day. So it means it's active in the night time, less active in the day. So opposite कर सकते हो. So it is a less active during the daytime. Beside India, it is also found in China, Nepal, Bhutan and Myanmar. So beside India, red panda found in China, Nepal, Bhutan and Myanmar. See student, this is the important point aspect that you should keep in mind, that red panda we found in China, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar. It eats bamboo sprouts, eggs, small birds and insects, and red panda is found in the cold forest of eastern Himalaya. Let's see another animal. It's a Ganga river dolphin. Point not please note the point that the Ganga river dolphin is our national aquatic animal. This point you should keep in mind, that it is our national aquatic animal, and other name is Platanista gangetica. Okay, so it's a Ganga river dolphin. So Ganga river dolphin found in the river Brahmaputra and Ganga. Name is the Ganga river dolphin, but it's found in the Brahmaputra and Ganga in a freshwater species. It's a freshwater में रहने वाली गंगा और ब्रह्मपुत्र में पाए जाने वाली ये डॉल्फिन है. So Ganga river dolphin, what is the other name? Is a Platanista gangetica. So found in the river Brahmaputra and the Ganga, is a freshwater species. Generally, it's live in the river having deep and calm water flow. जहाँ पे पानी शांत और गहरा होता है, ऐसी जगह पे गंगा रिवर डॉल्फिन देखी जाती है. Where? In the river Ganga and Brahmaputra. So this point, in having the deep and calm water, shallow में नहीं दिखेगी, calm water and the deep water. Now see, it's found in the Ganga river which flow through one of the densely populated region of the world. दुनिया के सबसे बड़े शहर जो नदी किनारों पे बसे हैं, in the river bank, ऐसी जगहों पे ये पाई जाती है. So it is found in the Ganga river which flow through one of the densely populated region of the world. Due to the release of the dirty water in the river, now it is also in danger. Ganga river dolphin is in danger. Why? What is the reason? So due to the release of dirty water in the river, sedimentation due to the deforestation, fisheries, navigation in the river, industrial waste, our danger has been created against its existence. अब गंगा रिवर डॉल्फिन के ऊपर why it is in danger? What are the reason? So due to the release of dirty water in the river, dirty water, then the sedimentation due to the deforestation, fisheries, machimari, then navigation in the river, water transportation, and industrial waste that has danger been created against its existence. गंगा रिवर डॉल्फिन क्यों डेंजर में है, उसके ये सब रीजन है. There are few such dolphin left in the चंबल river. ऐसी कुछ डॉल्फिन चंबल नदी जो है वहां पर भी पाई जाती है. It comes to the surface very often to breathe. Okay, so it's come to the surface very often to breathe, making su like a sound. उसका sound है. So it is also known by other name like a son, susu or susi. This all are the name for the Ganga river dolphin. So why there is another name? So if the question is there, so it comes the surface very often to breathe. जब वो सांस लेने के लिए ऊपर आती है तो इट्स साउंड लाइक अ सू सू, ऐसे साउंड करती है ब्रीदिंग के लिए. एंड सो इट इज ऑल्सो नोन बाय द अदर नेम लाइक अ सॉन्स, सुसु एंड सुसी. दिस ऑल आर द नेम. It is also found in the river of our neighbors of Nepal and Bangladesh. Ganga dolphin, Ganga river dolphin और कहाँ पे पाई जाती है? It is also found in the Nepal and Bangladesh. At present, the existence of Ganga river dolphin is in danger. But आज की situation में गंगा रिवर डॉल्फिन है वो in danger condition में है. Let's talk another animal. See, this is the image of Ganga River dolphin. How beautiful it's look. Yes, so this is the Ganga River dolphin. Now let's talk about the leopard. On the starting of the lecture, in the previous lecture, I have discussed about the differentiate between the leopard and panther, cheetah and leopard. Okay, so let's talk about the leopard. Now leopard is belongs to the cat family. ये भी cat family, बिल्ली प्रजाति में ही पाया जाता है. Lion, tiger, leopard all considered in the cat family. So it holds the smaller stature compared to the lion and tiger. Lion और tiger के compare में छोटी होती है उसका. It is found everywhere in India. भारत में चीता नहीं देखने को मिलता. इसको कहा जाता है तेंदुआ. हिंदी में जिसको हम कहते हैं तेंदुआ. There is a differentiate between leopard and cheetah. चीता leopard मतलब तेंदुआ एंड चीता दोनों ही अलग स्पीसीज है. भारत में चीता नहीं देखने को मिलता है पर लेपर्ड पाया जाता है. सो इट इज फाउंड एवरीवेयर इन इंडिया. इट इज ऑल्सो फाउंड इन डार्क ब्लैक कलर. काले रंग के तेंदुए भी पाए जाते हैं. इट इज फाउंड इन लार्ज नंबर इन द फॉरेस्ट ऑफ गुजरात. गुजरात में बहुत उसकी आबादी है, अच्छी आबादी है. इट्स ऑफन कम्स टू द ह्यूमन सेटलमेंट. पीपल अननोइंगली कॉल इट चीता ऑल्सो. इसको हम गलती से चीता कहते हैं पर ये चीता है नहीं. देयर इज अ डिफरेंशिएट. उसके कोट में, उसके स्ट्रक्चर में, उसकी स्पीड में देयर इज अ डिफरेंस. ओके, सो दिस पॉइंट वी विल कीप इन माइंड. See, this is the leopard. This is the leopard. Now let's talk about cheetah. लेपर्ड के बात करते हैं चीता. अब लेपर्ड की इमेज देखिए और चीता की इमेज देखिए. अब चीता को आपको देखो आंख में ऐसे काले, आंख से मुंह तक ऐसे काले लाइनिंग दिखते हैं. इसकी डॉटेड होती है फर. उसमें रोज टाइप पैटर्न होते हैं. यहाँ पे राउंड शेप की उसकी पैटर्न होती है. सो टुडे इट इज फाउंड इन अफ्रीका इन इट्स नेचुरल हैबिटेट. Cheetah are found. It's the fastest land animal. Cheetah is the fastest land animal. But now it is found only in the Africa in its natural habitat. Cheetah भारत में पाया नहीं जाता है. In India it is found in captive states only. That is a zoo. सिर्फ zoo में चीता है. Natural habitat में कहीं natural environment में चीता नहीं पाया जाता है. So in India it's found in captive state only. That is in the zoo. It is totally extinct from the forest in India. भारत के जंगलों में से चीता totally लुप्त हो चुका है. So this point about the cheetah. Now one horse rhino, Indian rhino, one horse rhino or the Indian rhino. So it is since in the marshy region of the Brahmaputra and Sundarban, one horse rhino, we know it is found in the Assam and in the West Bengal. Okay, so point what we will keep in mind, it says in the marshy region of the Brahmaputra and Sundarban, it is hunted for the preparing medicine from its horn. उसके सिंग में से, see this is the his horn, ये उसका horn है, सिंग है. So उसके सिंग के लिए राइनो को क्यों मारा जाता है? उसके सिंग के लिए, उसमें से मेडिसिन बनती है, इसीलिए मेडिसिन के लिए उसको मार दिया जाता है. So it is hunted for the preparing medicine for its horn. It is an herbivorous animal. Even the hippo and the rhino both are herbivorous. दिखते बहुत बड़े हैं, विकराल दिखते हैं, खूंखार दिखते हैं, but it's a herbivorous animal. Okay, so and due to the attempt of its protection, its number has increased. अब one horse rhino increase हो रहे हैं. So this scenes in the marshy region of the Brahmaputra and Sundarban, it is hunted for preparing medicine from its horn, and it is an herbivorous animal. ये herbivorous है, and due to the attempt of its protection, its number has increased. Okay, let's see another animal. Henotro. It's sound something different, some कुछ अजीब सा लग रहा है, but it's a henotro. हेनोथ्रो उसको कहा जाता है. सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द हेनोथ्रो, जिसको जंगली बिल्ली भी कहा जाता है. सो हेनोथ्रो लिव इन द एरिड एंड सेमी एरिड रीजन having the alpine forest and grassland desert or the semi desert area. एरिड एंड सेमी एरिड, जहां पे शुष्क वातावरण होता है, बारिश बहुत कम होती है. सो हेनोथ्रो लिव इन द एरिड एंड सेमी एरिड रीजन having the alpine forest and grasslands, desert or semi desert area. Okay, so Henothro lives in the arid and the semi arid region having the alpine and forest and grassland and desert of the semi desert area. It's live in the greater and smaller run of Kutch. कहाँ पे पाया जाता है? In the small and greater run of Kutch. So it's live in the greater and the smaller run of Kutch of Gujarat, Banni and in the Narayan Sarovar Sanctuary. Banni और नारायण सरोवर सेंचुरी में हेनोथ्रो को पाया जाता है. See students, this point you have to keep in mind for your exam purpose. See, this is the image. It can be identified as a slightly taller than the fox. Fox से ऊंचा होता है, slightly taller, has a fleshy round mouth. उसका मुंह आप देख सकते हो, it's a fleshy mouth. Okay, seems like a cat. And high ears, और कान उसके बड़े होते हैं. This is a feature how it's look. So it can be identified as slightly taller than the fox, has a fleshy round mouth and has a high ears. It hunts smaller birds, animal. Its extents can be known by its footprint. उसके पंजों के निशान से, पैर के निशान से आप हेनोथ्रो को आप पहचान या तो उसको आप ढूंढ सकते हो. ओके, नाउ दुगांग. दुगांग इज एन एक्वेटिक एनिमल. ये एक्वेटिक एनिमल है. It is seen in very small number along the western sea coast of India. Besides, it is also found along the sea coast of East Africa, Southeast Asia, and the coast and northern coast of Australia. So, you will find this animal, aquatic animal, in a small number in the western sea coast of India. Besides, it is also found along the sea coast of East Africa, Southeast Asia, and coast and northern coast of Australia. And see, this is the image. So what it eats? So seagrass and vegetation is its main food, and occasionally it also eats aquatic animal. It is a widely hunted for its meat and fat. क्यों उसको मारा जाता है? For its meat and fat. Earlier this dugong was found frequently along the Gujarat coast. पहले ये गुजरात में भी frequently पाया जाता था. So earlier this dugong was found frequently along Gujarat coast, especially along the Saurashtra coast. Okay, and but today it is rarely seen along the Gujarat coast. पर अब ये गुजरात के coast में बहुत rarely पाया जाता है. So students, I think whatever the point in entire lesson what we have discussed is absolute clear to you, and I am sure that there should no doubt difficulty. Okay, every point very briefly, things to know about all points we have discussed very nicely. So this is your today's task. This is your homework. So please note your homework. Answer the following question. You have to answer this question. What is meant by the sanctuary? What is meant? What do you understand by the sanctuary? Sanctuary क्या है? What is national park? So here you have to be very much clear the concept of sanctuaries and national parks, and write a note about the wildlife on the verge of extinction. जो animals अभी extinction की ओर गए हैं उनके बारे में आपको लिखना है. So what is meant by sanctuary, what is a national park, and write a note about the wildlife on the verge of extinction. This is your homework, and I think and I hope your concepts are clear. So here I am ending up this lecture and this chapter. So in next lecture we will discuss on other topic. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.